guys ready for Moose Madness 3?
Kind of.
You're sleeping.
I think it's down over the hill there.
Yeah, I saw him go down. Let's just leave him for a few minutes and then we'll have a cup of coffee and then we'll go out and see if we got ourselves a cow moose.
Hopefully.
Right on. How many years of the draw before you got this tag, Jay?
6 years in the draw.
Right on.
My first one, so
The population.
we're pretty excited. So
Right on. Congratulations. And the moose population in Saskatchewan has skyrocketed. There's pretty
Awesome.
much moose in every zone within the province and more tags. It's all through the draw system, but they're pretty good draws when you don't have to pull a moose out of the swamp back in the bush 18 miles in with an Argo.
yeah, no doubt. Hopefully this one will be easy to get.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like the majestic moose hunt like you'd think out of the textbook, but once in a while it's good to just winch them into the back of the truck.
Exactly.
Well, congratulations, man. Let's go get this thing loaded
Let's
up.
go check it out.
Pat's gonna let us use his tractor to clean it, so we'll just winch this thing right into the back of the truck, and once we get back to the farmyard we'll put it up on the hoist and hopefully we'll get a bit of video of that.
Right on.
I won't be able to do close-ups and stuff because I'm sure I'm gonna have to get my hands dirty.
That's right.
Okay, right. Take a minute and explain to everybody a little bit about moose hunting. I'm not a real experienced moose hunter, but I like to do a lot of reading, and I've actually had a couple opportunities to take moose on different occasions. But there's one thing that keep in mind when you're following a moose, that they do what's called circle back, or I call it circle back. They will travel in their chosen path, and then before they decide to bed down, they'll briefly walk straight into the wind and hook around. So when they bed down, any animal that's been tracking them on their trail, they can see them coming, and they can also smell everything that's upwind of them. So it's a bit of an ideal situation. So before they bed down, they try to put themselves in a situation that's going to keep them safe, and if any danger is headed their way. If you watch this clip and fast forward, you'll see what I mean. Once we were spotted by the moose, she headed straight into the wind. Once it was hit, it deployed the circle back tactic. Although this may not seem too important in this situation, but when you're tracking a moose in the forest, this becomes a lot more relevant. So remember, when a moose is hit or you're on its trail, they like to circle back. After a bit of ingenuity, Jason and I got the moose loaded into the truck. We headed straight for the farm, where we were greeted by the guys, eager to hear our story and lend a helping hand. As I mentioned earlier, it seems a little odd to be able to back the truck up and load it directly in, but once in a while, the use of a front-end loader is a welcome sight. We took our time to make surgeon-like incisions to the hide, keeping the hair to a minimum. The hide was removed immediately, which helped the meat cool quickly. This is an important step to ensuring the highest quality of meat. Remember, if you're going to hunt any animal, you better make sure you know what you're doing once it's on the ground. And if you do your part, well, you'll be enjoying some of the finest meat known to man, or as Ted Nugent calls it, rocket fuel. Before we dropped this animal off at the butcher shop, we took out the tenderloins. Jason took one, and I took one. I know my family enjoyed 2 nice meals out of this. It's always sad to see such a magnificent animal take its last step, but with moose populations at an all-time high, so are collisions with vehicles. It's an unfortunate but necessary to reduce some of the herd. As you know, moose and highways don't get along. For anyone who's unfamiliar with moose habits, you need to be extremely careful when traveling during late September and October. The rut is on and moose will travel day and night, so keep your eyes peeled and slow down. With the aid of the old John Deere, we got the meat loaded up and in the truck. Next stop, Arborfield Meats. Loaded up and headed back for Saskatoon.
Good to go.
Pretty successful trip, eh?
Yeah,
You were happy with the turnout?
absolutely. We got the meat already at the meat shed. We got the Arborfield meat getting cut up, so good to go.
Perfect. The thing was in the truck. We got the hide off. We got it cleaned, dressed, and washed. And in the cooler probably within an hour and a half from the time it was on the ground. So it's going to be some good eating.
Awesome.
Right on. What are you going to get done with your...
Well, they make them really good sausage. They're awesome sausage, so
Yeah?
excellent. So sausage, hamburger, maybe a couple steaks.
Right on. I know we had those cheese smokies from Arborfield Meats, and those things were phenomenal, especially out in the ice shack, eh?
Oh, they're fantastic.
Right on. And I'm a fan of moose meat by itself, so I'm just going to get my portion of it. Jason was gracious enough to give me some of his animals, so I'm just going to get mine cut and wrapped and put it in the freezer. Makes for some pretty good slow-cooked stews.
Absolutely.
Also, the hamburger is so lean off of these moose that you can hardly get it to brown, so it's pretty good stuff. Right on. Well, that concludes another edition of Saskatchewan Hunts. We're probably going to be heading out for some whitetails, maybe muzzleloader, maybe rifle, just depending on timing. And we're going to bring the camera along with us, so we'll see you next time on SaskatchewanHunts.ca. Say goodbye, Jay.
See you guys.
Whoa, careful. Thing we forgot.
What's that?
Thank Pat and Joanne for an awesome weekend.
Yeah, it was good of them. I mean, that was awesome.
We rolled in, they had hot supper for us and a nice cabin to stay in. So we just want to say big thanks to Pat, Joanne, Miles, Brandon, and Taylor for an awesome weekend. The boys come out with us for a little while and showed us some of the area. I don't think we would have been successful the next day had they not.
No, they pointed us in the right direction, that's for sure.
Right on. So thanks again, guys. See you later.
Get 'em down and get it done.
Kill those brain cells that remember you, and I hope you're coming home tonight.
Folks, I'm so glad you'll be with us.
'Cause I've been
Be sure to come visit us at SaskatchewanHunts.ca.